All right, so welcome to today's episode of the OCD Chronicles. This is Scott. So today what I want to talk about is really adding humor to your OCD themes. And I could honestly say, in looking back and just kind of over the years on some of the things that have really helped me to get through themes have been when I'm able to somehow add humor in there. So I'll give you an example. The moderator of the Pure OCD group was making suggestions because at a certain point in my life I had the gay OCD, and I remember I was in grad school and I was like, we were watching some movie in class. I forgot why, but anyway, like I think Nicolas Cage was one of the main actors, and he took off his shirt, and I had like the thoughts or something, like, you know, and then the confusion if like that means that I'm gay, or, you know, what do I really want? What's my orientation? So I told him about it, and he's like, next time that comes on, just say out loud or something like that, you know, or, you know, try to make a joke about it. And I did next time, something like that. I was able to make a joke and just like tease, like, what a hunk, you know, and something like that. And because I think we were watching it like the next day in class again or something like that, and people were laughing, and I found that to be a really, really helpful thing for me with that theme, was, you know, being able to bring humor into it. And so I want to encourage people listening today, if you could relate, which I'm sure most of us can, is like our themes, this thing, you know, OCD, our thoughts could really, really do a number on us, right? And I don't know about you guys, but like it gets super duper serious, not fun. If anything, I feel like it robs the joy out of me, you know, in general. And so just a reminder really is like, how could you bring humor into your theme? I know a friend of mine and I that both have, you know, OCD. We give each other certain goals, and shoot, I forgot what he did. Well, I know one of his was like to drive by his theme, but maybe I want to say something he was doing was like joking about getting converted to something, and, you know, it was something around his theme, and just like being converted to this religion. And so joking around about him getting converted, and, you know, what would happen if he went in there, and or like saying something like, I think his joke was like bringing a billboard or something over there. And I know mine was just like having this personality disorder. So like I put the personality disorder like on the headline of a Word document, and then a picture of myself underneath. So, I mean, that definitely brought a little bit of lightness into it, and I felt like it was really helping take just some of the, you know, just the weight and heaviness of the themes that we were both suffering from at the moment. And so what I want to share about today too is just, you know, if you're on a certain theme and feeling really distraught or beat up about it, and just, you know, how we could just totally wear our mind out, and we're just exhausted and feel powerless and just super frustrated about it, see if there's ways you could integrate some humor with it. Sometimes for me, what helps is like to ask a question, you know, how could I bring humor into this theme I have? You know, what are some ways that I could potentially do that? You know, what, maybe if you have other people that you know that have OCD, maybe you could help, you know, you guys could do it together like me and my friend did. I think it'd probably be easier. I feel like in some ways it's easier probably to come up with something funny about your friend's theme because it's not as serious to you, right? And that person could come up with something funny for you. right? Because we're so just ingrained with this that we can't often see any of the light. And yeah, I guess that would be really my recommendation, is see if you could even just creatively think of a few things, like maybe how could I make this funny, or shed some light on it. I shared some examples like what John, the moderator, told me to do, and what me and my friend did. Maybe that sparked some ideas. Maybe just write out what could I do that would add humor to this, and see if you could come up with one or two ideas. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you might just, creatively get something in the moment that works for you. You don't have to think too hard. And the other recommendation is, if you do have, support group or anyone else, whether you're a therapist or whatnot, try out the adding to the humor. Because like I said, I mean, to me, that's been a huge plus. Like, of all the things that I feel like have helped me with the scripts, I don't know if that really helped me too much. I mean, I know it helps some people a lot. I felt like adding humor really helped. So that's why I'm a big advocate of it. And so if you're working with like maybe a therapist or anybody in your support group, maybe you guys could come up with some ways you could integrate how to bring some humor in there. And I get it. Look, like, sometimes it just doesn't feel that funny. I can't remember for sure, but I feel like with the gay one, like, at first it was scary. You know what I mean? Because you're like saying it like, oh, what a hunk, and then probably 2 minutes later, I'm sure I was thinking like, did I really mean that? What does this mean? Oh my god, da, 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 da. And how that goes on. But then after a while, it just became second nature. Where I was able to kind of joke about it more with people, and then once that theme subsided, like, I didn't even care anymore. And like, sometimes I'd joke about it, sometimes I wouldn't. It wasn't a big deal. And that's, what we all really want to get to with any of our themes, is not that big of a deal, right? So anyway, that's really all I got today. I hope, if you're listening, that this was helpful. As always, feel free to throw in any comments, questions you have. I love hearing success stories. If you have any you'd like to share in the information box on this YouTube video, love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get updated. I try to do these once a week. So yeah, that's all I got. Thanks.